Hi, I'm Senator Mark Huizenga, representing Michigan's 30th Senate District. Today I'm outside the Kent County Road Commission's new central complex here in Walker. Here at this 29-acre complex, the Road Commission's been able to expand their facilities for their field operations, equipment, repair, and maintenance, as well as material storage. Among the key features of this new complex is a 150,000 square foot garage accommodating heavy and light duty vehicles and everyone's favorite winter item, salt. Situated near the intersection of 4 Mile and Walker Avenue, this new central complex offers central location for better serving the people of Kent County. Join me as we tour and learn more about this brand new facility. Yeah, this facility is just gorgeous. You guys went first class here. This is pretty cool.
This is pretty cool. We took the cornerstone of the old building and brought it with us. It was important to us.
And you got Henry Johnson Park guy there. That's pretty cool.
Townsend, Warren
Townsend
Park.
Yep.
Ramsdale Park.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
That's the history of the Road Commission. There's a lot of it here. There's a lot of legacy behind, and we wanted to bring that with us. I mean, that's important if it's school, church, work, the histories. Now it's empty of, or almost empty of green trucks because they're out on the road. We're still paving today. We're cutting trees. We'll walk down and you'll see the fabrication we had talked about where we actually fabricate our own trucks. We start with just a bare chassis. We put hundreds of pieces and parts on it to make it a fully usable truck.
A lot of times people complain about the roads or the road conditions. I see a few trucks here, Waymaster. Can you talk a little bit about what that means?
That's the laws road commissions can enforce, and that does with the size of vehicles, your weights, your height, your width of vehicles. We enforce that because we're trying to protect the integrity of the road and the motorists. So that Waymaster predominantly is in the spring of the year when we put on weight restrictions. And that's when the ground is freezing and thawing. The road is most susceptible to damage with heavy vehicles. So we through our board, put on the restrictions, which reduces the legal load by 35% and the speeds those trucks can travel. So it is very important. We write tickets. They cost the business community lots of money when they violate from it, but it saves the roads long run. It's about a 6-week period.
And it protects the integrity of the quality of that road for future motorists. I mean, it's a short-term problem for a long-term solution. So I think when people think about anti-icing, they probably think about the green trucks that are maybe spraying down some mixture like pre-treatment, I've heard it called. But this is a pretty big truck full of anti-icing fluid. What's the purpose of this one?
The purpose is to get it in front of the bridge decks. The bridges are always going to get slippery first. They're going to freeze up on a frosty morning. So the idea is we put a very thin layer of salt water, sodium chloride down. It dries, leaves enough residue so that first frost won't turn to ice. And then it buys us a little time when it starts to snow so it doesn't freeze right away. We can get out there and get some typical road salt on it.
Can you tell me a little bit about the formulation, what you use now and what the alternatives are?
Well, it really changes by the storm. We are in direct communication with the National Weather Service. We'll talk to them a dozen times during an event. What's the temperature? What's the wind speed? What do you anticipate? When do you anticipate it to snow? Will it be freezing rain first? So that chemical change will change based on the forecast. We'll use some chlorides with organic. It makes it stickier, so it sticks to the road better. That's really the idea. It's carbohydrates, it's sugar-based, it sticks. Could be beet juice, could be corn byproduct. It's a byproduct of some agricultural industry mixed with the chloride. You still have to have the chloride for de-icing. The other just makes it stickier and activate a little quicker.
Yeah, I think that's interesting too because people in Michigan, we're a heavy agriculture state to say, hey, we can actually be part of the solution in combination to keep our roads safe for their motorists.
Absolutely.
This looks like a regular truck that people are used to seeing on the roads.
It is. It's a regular truck, but it's a new attachment. All those little bits, if you will, are made to chew up the ice so we can actually loosen the ice so we don't have to use as much chemical to get it off the road.
Wow.
Okay. Mainly designed for gravel roads where you can't put salt on. Those will bust that up enough that we can peel it off.
Yeah, you can get in there and really take it out.
Right.
This next truck we see, this has got a big blade in the front.
A foot or less snow, we're going to use the underbody, and if we come over on the other side, we have the wings.
I know when I was mayor of Walker, we did the wing plows too early on, and they were a real lifesaver for our not only equipment but man hours, and we could get out there quicker, and you just see a significant increase in efficiency. So
absolutely, that driver at times is really doing the work of two. And this is where we continually talk about in the wintertime, don't pass that truck because that wing sticking out there, there's normally a light up there that's going to be flashing, but you're not going to see that when you have a whiteout.
A lot of times I think people see this blade and they know, wow, this is what's scraping the bottom of it. But I know from experience that you have to replace the little actual scraper bar that's on the bottom there. You have a shop here, you maintain these things. How often do you change these things out when you're working?
Well, every road is a little bit different. If you're on concrete, fresh concrete out on the state road, you're probably going to get 12, 14 hours out of that blade. And you're
Did you say to 12 to 14
12 to
hours?
14 hours.
Okay.
So it's about a shift.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're on a county road, blacktop roads aren't quite as aggressive, you'll probably get 24 to 36 hours out of it. You're going to, for a driver, they're going to change that a couple times a week at least.
So you call this your fabrication shop?
Correct.
And then your maintenance shop is next door.
Just next door.
That's where you're going to put on your new blades, your 12-hour longevity?
Actually, the mechanics don't do that. The truck drivers have to. When that blade wears out, the truck driver puts it back on. Okay.
Okay.
The shop is more for repairs, breakdowns, anything from lights, brakes, transmissions. Pull a motor, put a new motor in. It's a full-service shop that can really do whatever repairs we have to do to fix that truck.
You said that you're probably one of the few that has your own shop like this. You guys, you'll buy a raw truck, you'll put on the underplow, you'll basically take a frame and you'll do everything to it,
We
right?
do everything. All the hydraulics, the underbody, the lights, the wiring. I think there's 200 feet of hydraulic hoses that go on there, and there's dozens of fittings because it's all just not one hose.
Right.
Electrical, I think there's 300 feet of electrical wire we're putting on these trucks. It's huge. But again, we know every part and piece we put on, so when it breaks, we know what we're looking for. One of the other things we're really proud about this facility is a drive-through truck wash.
Oh, nice.
So they could drive that truck through, and the most important part is cleaning underneath the truck that you can't really wash by hand. So you get 80 gallons of water that flushes all that salt and crud off that, makes the truck last longer. So we spent $2 million on a truck wash, and we know that's going to pay for itself. The other thing we really like to stress this time of year, just like we're starting to prep our trucks, we're putting sanders on, we're getting ready, people need to do the same thing with their vehicles. When we go to accident scene, we see people with their tires bare, wore out. It's like, you need to prep your car just like we're prepping for winter. Help save yourself.
Sure. When you fabricate yourself, you develop a level of ingenuity, I would say.
The best ideas come from the people that are actually doing the work, not the bosses, the guys that are fabbing this stuff, and the men and women that are fabbing it.
Right.
And they share that for sure. For sure.
Yeah, best practices.
Best practices are shared. That's how we learn. We learn what not to do, and we learn what to do. The Walker employees have already been here checking things out, want to know if they can use a truck wash, get a little salt from us. And we do work well. I mean,
well, I think that's one thing, the West Michigan nice thing, it's a real thing. I know that in Walker, somebody's up in the area, they need some salt, share and keep, make things more efficient for the motorists. That's a big deal. So these big tanks here, these are your chloride tanks, I assume?
These are liquid chloride tanks. Some are sodium for that anti-acid we talk, and some is mineral well brine, which is more of a calcium base, with some carbohydrate, some byproduct added to one of the tanks.
And here's your salt.
Here's one of 4 buildings. This has about 6,000 tons. We're going to use somewhere between 30 and 40,000 tons of salt in the winter throughout the entire winter. Now that sounds like a lot, and we actually did some work with some graphics to show the motors what that means. It means very little when you look at the number of miles we travel. We use the least amount we can to get the results we want.
Great. Well, thank you so much. This has been fascinating.
Good. Glad
I really
to do
appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for keeping our roads safe.
That's what we're here for.